I'm wondering, like, where the fuck did he get all these people, bro? Is it because like he used to fuck Kylie, or like I don't know if it is.
When it comes to this, especially within hip hop, I feel like there's a lot of tracks like that for music here, and especially in this genre where that's mosh pitting is not really like something that should be that heavily incorporated in a lot of shows, but it is. And
member who is booking, or family member or a loved one who is booking tickets to a Travis Scott performance, talk to them. Make sure that they're okay. They're going into a dangerous world willingly, and make sure that everything's all right before they decide to go get trampled by a wave of 14-year-olds. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, good whatever the fuck you are in the time zones. We are back with our second or whatever episode this is by now. I don't know if we're doing a continuation. I am Matthew Fitzgerald. These are my lovely two co-hosts, Dominique Smith and Jay Ute. We are back, and we got way too much shit to bring to you. We got to try to chop it up to a little bit less the time that we had last episode, but if we go a little bit over, we'll make it work.
Yeah, by the way, welcome to JDM.
I said Jay.
Yeah, you did. It's okay. Don't worry. We're still working on it. No sweat.
Yeah, sorry for the.
Keep going. Oh, I thought it stopped. I'm about to say. All right, so.
Yes, so today, as our first topic, we have Travis Scott that escaped the United States and goes to all the way to Italy to do his concert. So just so you guys know, in the concert, there's like 60 people that was injured, which wasn't too bad comparing to the last concert that he had. I mean, the last concert there was literally death, so that's kind of good in a sense. Plus,
a bus crashed and only 60 people died compared to the bus crash last year where 61 people died. It's still a fucking injury fest. It doesn't mean it's any better.
Yeah, I mean, in this point, you gotta make the best of what you have in hell, bro. You know what I'm saying? So
hell, yeah.
That's a bar. That's a bar, but it's a bar.
So I mean,
I guess it's just like I said last episode. It's the fan base. It is the fan base. It is the atmosphere. It is everything under the sun around Travis Scott. Like, if you're gonna throw down for a hypebeast concert, you're gonna throw down. It doesn't matter if it's in Houston or Italy. My only problem is did any officials point anything out beforehand? Like, is it the same thing as Houston, or are we dealing with a whole different animal?
Well, I mean,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, I'm assuming that I mean, Italy is probably like less strict when it comes to those things because like let's say like Travis Scott is bringing thousands of people, bro, like
hundreds of thousands.
Like that's a lot of hundreds of thousands, bro. To not downplaying the numbers, that's a lot of people and a lot of tourists, bro, and that's a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? Like for a country like Italy. So I'm pretty sure that we're happy like to have something like this happening, I mean, that's just my assumption. I mean, if I was running a country, I would probably not let this happen like this. So yeah, it's kind of weird still.
What I spoke on last time is, Houston is not the European Union in terms of red tape when it comes to this type of shit. Like, I feel, especially after everything with COVID, like restrictions for, group gatherings, performances, all that shit would have been, more locked down ahead of time. Given what's happened in Houston, you think with the track record, there would have been, ambulances staffed nearby. There would be more, spacing for the crowd. Like, if they overpacked, they overpacked. But I'm shocked Italy didn't learn its lesson, from Houston before throwing down like this.
Well, apparently, I've actually seen two conflicting reports. So one of the reports obviously talks about how there was over 60 people who were injured. Lots of people were injured and hurt. Nothing very major or serious. However, there was another article that I saw that also talked about how some of the media was like grossly exaggerating the event, and that there actually weren't as many like major injuries as the media was leading on with some of the headlines. And I am curious to see how much Travis's image and touring is going to be affected by that, because obviously he has a magnifying glass all over anything he's going to be doing, especially when he tours and comes back touring here in America. So I'm curious to know and see how that's going to play a factor in any future events he does when he's touring, especially with this new album rolling out, debuting number one, doing crazy numbers, like almost all his songs are in the Hot 100 Billboard. So obviously, he's probably lost some fans in a lot of ways, but still is maintaining and if not gaining more. So I'm curious to know how that's going to play out once he starts coming back touring over in America.
I mean,
So if you have a family member who is booking, or family member or a loved one who is booking tickets to a Travis Scott performance, talk to them. Make sure that they're okay. They're going into a dangerous world willingly, and make sure that everything's all right before they decide to go get trampled by a wave of 14-year-olds.
I mean, I'm pretty sure people are aware of the danger of going to a place like this. So it's not uncommon. People just want to the thrill of doing something, like they are in Italy and going to a Travis concert. I'm guessing people are just trying to live their life. It's not like they don't care really, And, or people were probably saying, oh, I'm probably not gonna be the amongst of the injured, so which is what most people are gonna say. What is weird, I still don't know why he has such a strong ass fan base like this. There's niggas that are way better than Travis. They don't have that. I'm wondering where the fuck did he get all these people, bro? Is it because he used to fuck Kylie, or I don't know if it is because yeah, that gotta come from somewhere. Come on now, that's a legit question, bro. You know what I'm saying?
That's an L take. I'm gonna keep it $1.50, but again, bro, it's just young. It's a new generation of hip hop. It's the artisanal art house flow as well. That's West Coast, but it's a different breed of West Coast rap and R&B. The vibe's different. It gets the little white kids jumping up and down. So I guess that's a big chunk of it. But there's plenty of other artists who are just like him without the fatality record and shows.
Yeah, consistently. Yeah, I mean, also obviously, I think some part of that is also just how much. I've been noticing, and this is just a trend in general. I see a lot of these artists trying to be more rock starry and trying to do mosh pits and all this shit. Which I have nothing against personally. That's always been a thing and a part of other genres of music, especially with rock and whatever. But obviously, when it comes to this, especially within hip hop, I feel like there's a lot of tracks like that for music here, and especially in this genre where that's mosh pitting is not really something that should be that heavily incorporated in a lot of shows, but it is, and it's only been growing with people like Playboi Carti, Lil Uzi, and Travis Scott as they've grown prominently, and you've seen how much success they've had and continue to have as they dive deeper and deeper into this more mosh pitty and rock star-esque persona in a way. And it shows within how they structure their music now. If you're listening to Travis Scott's Utopia, you'll hear all them songs are for moshing, straight up. He's always made that type of music. Honestly, more so now in this album than I'd say even Astro World, versus where there was a combination of that mashup and mix up of melodic, rapping and typical Travis stuff, and then that mosh pity or mosh pit type songs sprinkled in or incorporated in there. But with this album and this rollout, it seems like he's still gonna go all out with whatever he has planned and whatever he wants to do when he sets up, like I said, his touring. So I think he should really be careful and really tread lightly on that stuff, especially because obviously I don't think he wants people to be getting injured and hurt or dying. obviously back in the day, when he was blowing up and that shit wasn't as prominent, and he was trying to make his, mark in the game. He was way more in tune and wanting to push for that stuff. But I think with how big he is now, like, I definitely don't think his career can take another one of those hits like that where multiple people, especially under the age of like 10, pass away after attending his concert. But yeah.
So, wait, so to get back to what Matt said earlier, like you said, it's a new generation of like people, you know what I'm saying, like that have some sort of appreciation for the R&B and rap kind of thing like this. But like it's usually like, I mean, think about it, like, if there's like, I'm pretty sure like there's not a lot of like, teenagers that can afford these concerts anyway. So I would say like, most of these people are like, sure, but with a parent, I'm pretty sure like if I would say something like this to my parent, like when I was a teenager, they would probably look into it and say, "Oh shit, you're not going to that shit." But my point is like it's just I feel like in these concerts is most likely people from in their 20s that probably have a job already until 30 going to 40. It's probably like not the young people that you think they are. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I would disagree with that.
I would too.
I'd
definitely say that, a lot of, the hype beast generation that we're seeing today, like, if you go outside and look at, your average high schooler or average middle school student, like, it's going to be a continuing trend. Now, what I wanted to touch on after this is, with everything as a fad or as, just in rotation, is this going to wear out in, 5-10 years? Is this going to continue? Is this going to evolve into something else? Like, how many, Travis concerts and, Travis clone concerts are, going to result in, this hype beast wash that where kids get hurt?
You know what?
No one was throwing down at, an NWA concert like this where like 60 plus people get hurt.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think this shit will never like slow down because
that's what they said about disco.
Wait, what do you mean about disco?
I mean, like I said, just everything eventually like fades to gray. Nothing stays forever. And
I know, but like you can see like there's some sort of evolution in their music. Like think about it. Lil Uzi released like a fucking album where he was trying to do some weird ass shit, bro. Like
garbage.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not getting into that, but my point is, it was trying to play and incorporate rock and some fucking. I don't even know what he was trying to do, and even the most recent album of Playboi Carti, bro. It's just like they have all of them have that kind of big drop, They know what they're trying to do, like they know, like that's where they get like the connection with their fan the most, like in the concert, So I think that's why he's heading to that, and that's some sort of like evolution, Niggas don't just like release an album and then let it play, They just let you know that I'm gonna have this big fucking concert where like fans gonna pull up and then they're gonna like celebrate, and many people will probably die in the process. And next thing you know, 6 months after, they will release like another album where people will forget about the more shit. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's some sort of evolution, and they know in a business standpoint, it's working for them. So in 10 years, you never know.
Many albums you could fill with just 5 minutes of ad-libbing and the same producer type beat over and over and over again before you eventually have to change. Now, am I saying that Pink Tape going experimental was a good thing? No. And many critics will agree with that. Is change good at the same time? Sure. He's trying to reach a more broader audience, touching on, more of his interests. But if it's not, getting good feedback, is he going to do it again? That's what I'm wondering.
I would just like to add
Uh,
too on this that something you touched upon was you, John. You mentioned how that like artists are very aware of like they'll have the beat drops on like what they want out of these songs and like how they want them to be played and when they want them to be played. And something I was seeing throughout like just social media and the internet in general is, and this can very much apply to Playboy Cardi's A Whole Lot of Red especially, which was obviously the reception for that album when it first came out was like very mixed, but as time progressed, I noticed, especially when Playboy Cardi started performing a lot of his stuff, the tune for that changed a lot, and a lot of people came to appreciate more of his music in regards to that when they see these artists perform these songs and how much effort they put into performing. Like, for as much as people can shit on Cardi and say he's this and this, like if you see him performing, like you see people who go to his stuff and they come out, they'll tell you, like, for the most part, like he put on a show. Like he'll have guitar soloists and do crazy stuff, get the energy going, and like make sure, and everyone will show and indicate that they are in tune and are jumping up and down for whatever. So I think a big part of like why like Uzi, the experimental stuff at for now is going to be looked at a certain way, but I think it can change over time, especially once he starts performing a lot more. And I think people's tunes and is going to change, just like with Playboy Cardi's album. Maybe not to the extent in which people are calling that shit a classic and all that goofy shit, but obviously I think that like performance wise or performing a lot of songs in general for artists in general can play a big part in changing and swaying the way people view the artists themselves and the music they drop.